Hello everyone, DCB here and welcome to another Warhammer 40k mod build. In this one we are building Morvenn Vahl, the Abbess Sanctorum of the Adepta Sororitas. This video will be done in a time-lapse format where I will be building Morvenn Vahl without the helmet for you. I'll be building this as one complete stage. I will not be painting it on this one. You'll probably hear the copyright free music I've got underneath. Those are the tools I'll be using. The small clippers, a Stanley, and of course the mold line removal tool, as well as the plastic glue. I'll be giving you a bit of the lore about this lovely lady. So let's begin today's build. Spiritual and military leadership of the Adepta Sororitas is vested in Morvenn Vahl, the recently elevated Abbess Sanctorum. By her uncompromising command is the might of the Order militant unleashed to scour words clean with fire of her aggressive pity. Vahl does not distract such crusades from afar, but plunges into battle at the forefront of the fight. Morvenn Vahl issues her directives in chipped and severe tones. Her young features always set in the expression of stern resolve. Her strident devotion to the God Emperor and the defense of the Imperium is beyond question, and she is a beacon to which the entire sisterhood looks as their spiritual and martial exemplar. Vahl is a warrior first and foremost. She is a superlative frontline commander and expert combatant. However, she must be more than just this, for a galaxy-spanning force awaits her in every order, and the guardianship of the faith of mankind is in her hands. These are heavy burdens to bear. Rather than a mark of honour, the heirs to the Sanctorum consider the position of Abbess to be the highest of duties and responsibilities, one to be born with stern, rigid devotion and humble acceptance. The former Abbess's ship was declared lost en route from Olympia 7 to Holy Terror during the Arcanum Catastrophe, when the Great Rift split the Imperium. News of this dire loss was achingly slow to reach the rider Adepta Sororitas. For amidst such galaxy unrest, every order and far-flung mission was on its own, maintaining their isolated devotion in the face of encroaching madness. Only as the darkness began to recede was the terrible loss uncovered, and the need for an icon of leadership was greater than ever, and the ecclesiarchy appeared to the Covenant Sanctorum and Pyrrhus to submit their candidate for Abbess. Amongst those considered, Vahl was far the youngest. She was an aggressive and selfless canoness superior of the Order of the Ancient Shroud, whose dedication in the face of monstrous onslaught had earned her the approval of her sombre order. The complex factions within the ecclesiarchy palace on Terra believed that so young and potentially inexperienced a sister might be more easily maneuvered. Her explicit naivety would be a gateway for the ecclesiarchy to more influence into the sister's operation and instill heresies than conviction denied. What many with the ecclesiarchy ears wanted was a ceremonial and manipulable figurehead. What they got was a forthright and iron-willed warrior. Morvenn Vahl was on campaign in the Riksgard Purgatory when the ecclesiarchy's delegation arrived. The priest delivered the Ministorum's decoration with of substantial ceremony and layered ritual. Scarred and blood-stained, her silver armour chipped and fire-blackened, Celestian Superior Vahl listened in absolute silence and without emotion to the ceremony of appointment. Coached in terms of mere investigation, she then stunned the contained bishops, plates, hierarchs, and confessors by quietly requesting a period of prayer on the matter. Vahl entered her mission shrine to Saint Sivelina and undertook a solitary meditation for 3 days. While increasingly nervous priests paced anxiously, when she emerged, she seemed to those present to walk taller, her eyes hard and uncontrolled to the clergy, some of who involuntarily backed away from her. With a handful of words, Vahl accepted the appointment. She commanded a successor to her canoness before turning on her heels and swiftly walking for the priest's orbital transfer ship. Having planned many days of worship and ceremony to mark the appointment, the gathered priests were aghast. Only a handful had the presence of mind to hasten in her wake. In the months after her arrival upon Holy Terra, Vahl soon proved herself a deadly opponent to those who sought to control her. She continued to wear full battle armour when receiving senior members of the Holy Shroud, intimidating and unnerving them with her pitiless stare and brutish responses. Vahl threw herself into re-establishing personal contact with as many of the orders as possible, firmly defying any priest who tried to assure her that matters were ready in hand. She swiftly sought to sanctify the orders that the Abbess Sanctorum once more stood as their commander, absorbing data on current crusades, demanding full field reports and strategic and what they were doing to throw back the flood of savagery that boiled out of the Great Rift. It can be explained that Vahl, young as she was, and propelled so suddenly to the rectified heights of power, must have wrestled with questions of faith and self-confidence. Yet, whatever struggles took place behind the doors of her mind remained private. Not once did the new Abbess Sanctorum allow even a crack to show in the armour of her faith. It did become clear, however, that Vahl chafed at the reins of what she saw as personal inaction, when so many other sisters of battle were fighting and dying. Even upon the recommendation of Rabute Gilliam, Vahl was elevated to the status of a High Lord of Terror. It did little to cool her allure for battle. Few within the Abbess Adepta Sororitas were surprised when the Abbess declared herself the commander of the Ecclesiarchy's crusade against the traitorous tide worlds of the Philosopher's Belt. Since then, she has taken to the field in person dozens of times during her short tenure, leading the forces of every order, not giving to rose sermons and uplifting allegory. Abbess Vahl instead leads by example on the battlefield, letting her deeds in service to the God Emperor speak for her. Numerous sisters from several orders and fabulous complaint Vahl's command staff, deftly dealing with the slave of generals, planetary governors, admirals and more that daily clamour for her attention. Vahl does not see herself as the Emperor's chosen, but as an instrument in defence, who must place herself between the imperial creed and the countless horrors that seek to defile it. Her sense of duty to this lofty position means she will never recklessly submit herself to an unwinnable war. Martyrdom, as her former order taught, is a release from one's duty, and not its ultimate expression. As all her predecessors understood, the position of Abbess Sanctorum is a burden that can be set aside only when the last heretic, mutant, Xenos and demon is expelled from existence. Only then might she take a step back into an autonomy as a sister of her order. And that's the lore of Morvenn Vahl from the Warhammer 40,000 Codex, the Adepta Sororitas book. I will leave you now with the rest of the time-lapse build with the copyright-free music, and I will see you when it's all done. And there she is, all built and ready to go. Abbess Venn, this mighty sister of Battel. I will now get her sprayed and painted in a separate video, but I do hope that you've enjoyed this one. As always, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below on what you think about the model, so on and so forth. Like the video if you've enjoyed the content, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this video with those who you think will enjoy it. And until the next one, this is DCB. Knowledge is power, if we use it wisely.